Come sit, gather round. I've got another figure I'm just reviewing here for you tonight. Not doing any customizing on this guy because the Amber collection is kind of perfect. Just a quick look at the box because it deserves it. Love the artwork. As the game warden at Jurassic Park, Robert Muldoon clearly understands the dangerous and deadly nature of velociraptors. Despite being a trained hunter, Muldoon ultimately succumbs to the clever behavior that he was talking about from the start. And with technology where it's at today, you can just get the most absolute tiny details on these figures. I'm not sure what image they use, but I like that it's not just the Robert Muldoon and his vest that we've seen 100 times. It gives a little touch of authenticity there. And to much controversy, he comes with a shock stick instead of his spaz, a couple of interchangeable hands, and a different head there, with some subtle sweating going on there. And of course his iconic hat. The sculpt is absolutely spot on to Bob Peck. Malcolm's not so much looking like Jeff Goldblum in hand, but this is dead on. The texturing on the plastic is very nice too. It actually looks like skin. You can catch little microscopic imperfections and things like that. And it's got some pretty good articulation. The vest is very thin rubber and removable. The chest and hips swivel. The legs are muscly and fully articulated, as are the ankles and wrists, which gives you the full range of motion that you would ever hope to have for a human being. And I'll demonstrate that for a minute here. Now, the vest was slightly difficult to get off as I was slightly scared to tear it, but as you can see, we finally got there. And it's a really nice feature. It's a nice detail because he does appear with and without the vest, and Mattel could have very well just sold us a whole separate figure for another $20 just without the vest, but we get them both here, and that's nice. We like that, Mattel. And the figure does look quite great without the vest, too. Very casual, very crocodile hunter. They also opted for a removable hat this time instead of just a separate head with a hat. Much more preferable. Very much wish they'd done that with their Alan figure. And considering that that's such a moment in the movie, I'm surprised they didn't. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the interchangeable head took me a second to get, and I know I'm not the only one, but what they've gone for here is a sweaty Muldoon, and I'm trying to catch it with the light, but there are indeed droplets of sweat on this man's face. It is not a totally useless head, it's just a slightly useless head. And it just pops off like this. And if you don't get his head all the way on there, he will suddenly look very alert. And though this is not his iconic rifle, I do believe this is the one and only shock prod we have. And from what I can tell, it's screen accurate, so that's kind of nice. It's also very detailed in itself. Mine did come a little warped, but that's nothing a little hot and cold water can't help. If, that's something that's really bothering you. The hand does hold it wonderfully. It fits like a glove, at least in the right hand. The left hand, not so much. Kind of have a little trouble balancing it and holding it in both hands, or just kind of figuring out where exactly to hold it. And that's really my one and only gripe about this figure. If you're going to replace the iconic weapon, at least make it functional. So, as I leave you with this size comparison of all the other Muldoons throughout the years, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Good night.